How to get started using DigitalOcean. Hey everyone, welcome. I hope you're all doing great. In this video, I'll be discussing about DigitalOcean, how to get started, how to sign up, and talk about exactly what you can create with DigitalOcean. Now, basically, DigitalOcean is a platform that is going to help you quite a lot. It's basically a web cloud platform that is going to help you quite a lot with many different things that are related to that. If I just go hover over the product section here, you can see some of the things that we can actually use DigitalOcean for. For example, we can actually create droplets, which are, you can think of them as, as they say, scalable virtual machines. So basically servers, which is, you can actually see the pricing for them later on. I will show you how to actually set them up. Kubernetes, which are going to be scalable virtual machines, so servers. Then we have some Paperspace, Cloudways, app platform storage. There's plenty that we can actually use DigitalOcean for. It really depends on what you want to use it for. So to get started, you will need to go to digitalocean.com, and I will show you right away some of the things that we can actually do here. So you can see here virtual machines, storage, managed databases, app platform, and more. So we can just, if you really want to get started and see whether or not the thing that you're looking for is within DigitalOcean, just go to digitalocean.com, go to pricing, and in here, you will basically just see all the things that you can get and how much it actually starts at. So for example, droplets are going to start at $4 a month. Now, it's not going to be the best if you want to go for the $4 a month. I will show you the rest. But you can obviously upgrade from that, but it starts at $4 a month. Here you have more stuff for Kubernetes, $12 a month. The app platform itself is going to be well, not really. So it's the app platform does start at $0, but there's obviously more, and then you can see the rest of them. So you can just go ahead to this page, see if you have exactly what you need or not, and we can just go ahead and start with the signing up process. So just again go to digitalocean.com and just click on sign up on the top right, and we can just go ahead and sign up with Google or GitHub or with email. It really depends on how you want to sign up. I'm not going to bore you with it. It's a very simple signing up process. So I'm just going to go ahead and sign up and see you in the actual dashboard. Okay, so actually, when you actually sign up, there are going to be a few questions about yourself. So what is your role or your business type? We can just go for e-commerce. Okay, and what do you plan to build with DigitalOcean? We can just go ahead and select one. We can just go for whatever it may be right now. Okay, or actually, let me just leave it empty, just in case they will only focus on that. I don't really want that. I want to try to cover everything. So what is your monthly spend on cloud infrastructure across cloud platforms? I'm just going to go for this one, and just go ahead and answer them to the best that you can. This is obviously going to help them identify your role better and suggest you better stuff that is going to be related to you. Okay, so once that's done, they're going to ask you for your card information. Just for verification purposes, it's not going to pay you anything. You're not going to pay anything for the signing up. You will just need to obviously add your card for verification purposes, and they just use it to try to avoid scams and all of those things. Once you get to this page, you can just right away click on whatever you want to create, but I prefer to just click on go to the control panel. This way we can just, view our entire thing in a much better way or easier way. So here we have the project section, we have the manage section, and more stuff like settings, API, marketplace, and so on. For the marketplace, let's just get it out of the way. We can find a lot of integrations here and things that we can actually use here. So like WordPress, we have WordPress WooCommerce. We have a lot of stuff here that we can actually see and use, which is going to help us later on. So we can just exit out of here. And basically, you will be greeted with your first project here. And in the project, you will have the resources tab, which is going to show you how to, or not how to, but the resources that you can actually use and start creating for. So for example, project 1 is going to be for a specific type of workload that you want to go for. Then you would want to create specific servers for this specific project. And those are going to be the resources that you can use. So we can just go ahead and start creating droplet, deploy your web app, and more stuff here. And then we have the activity. Activity is just going to show us the recent actions that has been taken within this first project. Lastly, you have settings here. Is going to be a good way for you to set up the name of the project. So testing project instead of first project. And then if you want to enter a description, you can also do so. And we can also specify what it is used for. So we can just go ahead and select that over here. And yeah, if you want to also delete a project, you will need to have another project to delete it. If you want to create a new one, just click on new project and go ahead and follow the instructions. I'm not going to do it because it's not really necessary. So I'm just going to exit out of here. And then we have the manage tab on the left side here. If we just click on that, we can see the manage tab. Here we can manage the droplets, we can manage the app platform, we can manage functions, Kubernetes, databases, backup and snapshots. All of those things we can actually manage from here. So it's going to show us more detailed information about each specific item in here. But now if you want to get started creating stuff within the project, basically just go ahead, click on the project that you want to create it for, or it doesn't really matter, but I'm just going to do it regardless. And then I'm just going to click on create on the top right. From here we can just go ahead and feel free to create a droplet or Kubernetes or app platform or functions or databases or cloud firewalls, reserved IPs, and so on. You see everything that you can actually create here is going to be shown from this drop down menu. So let's say I want to create a droplet. I'm obviously not going to cover everything here. It's just going to be almost the same thing. It's just going to have unique questions or things that you will need to fill in before. So let's say we want to create a droplet. We just click on it, and here's going to take us to the page of creating a droplet. So the first thing is choosing a region. Now here's the thing, you will need to choose a region that is the closest to you. So make sure you choose the first, or not first, but the closest one to your place. Just go ahead and choose it. And make sure the closest server, you just go ahead and go for it. Once you're happy with the server you have chosen, we just scroll down a little bit and move on to the next step here. Let's just read this. Okay, so next step is going to be choosing an image. Here you can choose from the ones that already exist here. You can upload your own custom image, or we can go through the marketplace. So we can choose, for example, WordPress. And yeah, choose basically WordPress, and yeah, just choose whichever one that you want to choose. I'm just going to go for WordPress because it's the first one in here. I'm obviously not going to create a droplet. I'm just going to show you the steps that are required. And then we have the choosing the size option. Now this is going to be very important here because it's going to make most of the difference of how much it's going to actually cost. So droplet type, we have basic, we have general purpose, CPU optimized, memory optimized, or storage optimized. Obviously, if you check either one of them, is going to also show you more options below. I'm just going to go for the basic one. And then from within the basic, we have 3 different categories here. The regular SSD. You can see disk type is normal SSD. We have premium Intel, which is going to be NVMe SSD. or we have premium AMD, which is going to have also NVMe SSD. So for example, let's just stick with the regular. Here are going to be the plans that we can find. So the minimum one for WordPress, you can see, is the $6 a month one, which is going to provide us with 1 gigabytes and one CPU, 25 gigabytes of SSD, disk storage, and then we have 1,000 gigabytes for transfer. And then you can, compare the rest of them and see which one suits you best, or you can go for the premium ones and you can see exactly how it's going to be. So just go ahead, select the plan that you want to go for, and you can see the total down here. Now here we can also add more stuff, additional storage. So for example, if you want that, you can just click on add volume. If you want to enable backups, you can also do so from here. But the backups does charge extra. So just go ahead and select which one you want to have. So you can have the weekly backups, which is going to basically back up all the data for each week, and it's going to keep it for 4 weeks. Or you can have daily backups, and yeah, select which one you want and just go for it, or check it off completely if you want. Authentication method, you can go for password or SSH key, which is going to be I guess more secure, but we can just go for password here, and you can just set a password for this. So whenever somebody wants to actually access the droplet, they will need to enter this password that you have over here. Okay, and then we have more stuff like adding improved metrics and monitoring. So if you want to add monitoring to your server or droplet, just check this. It's for free, so you don't really have to worry about that. And here we can also see more stuff that we can add, like enable IPv6. If you want to enable that, just click on that. And initialization scripts, if you want to, you can also go ahead and go for it. But I'm just, going to disable these two. And here we have more stuff. For example, the quantity, how many drops you wanted to actually create with the same options that we have just selected, and the host name. Obviously, host name, delete this and go ahead and enter your very own host name. For the time being, I'm just sorry about that. For the time being, I'm just typing test. Tags is only going to be related to you and how you, basically just going to help you find things faster. It's not anything important, so just go ahead and add your tags. And here we can just select which project we want to create this for. We only have the one, so we can just select the one, but if you have multiple, we can just create multiple. And once you're done, you can just click on create droplet. They're going to confirm your payment method, and it's going to be created for you. And you can actually see them from within the manage tab and go to droplets, and you can just find them in here. Or you can just go to first project here and find everything that you have created for this particular project. Now I know I have just created the droplets, but it's going to work pretty much almost exactly the same for the rest of them. So see which one you actually want to go ahead and create, go for it, and yeah, it shouldn't be too hard. So hopefully this was a useful beginner's guide if you are just getting started. I hope that you have found it to be helpful and you liked it, and this is all I have for you today, and thanks for watching.